So I'm going to share a little bit about what's worked for me in a few different topics. So the first is asking everyone. So I ask every single person I know, and I seriously mean every single person I know. For my participation this year, I asked 339 people if they would be willing to donate to me. I ended up having 213 donors, which is very good. But again, I was really willing to step outside of my comfort zone and ask every single person that I knew, that I had contact information for. Some people I hadn't talked to in a while, but again, I personally was very, very motivated by the goal that I had set for myself and very much wanted to reach that. This is something that I learned early on in my fundraising career, and something that has been a challenge for me for sure over the years to adopt, but never make a decision for a potential donor, sometimes based on their own life circumstances or something you may know. But it's very important to make sure that you allow your donors, your potential donors, to decide what's important for them in terms of how they spend their money. This year I had two friends who I've really had to kind of step outside of my comfort zone with and ask for donations. One is a very good friend of mine who started her own company, and about a week before I started my fundraising this year, she had canceled a dinner with me because she said she probably needed to be careful with her money. And then I had another friend who had just gotten laid off, and both of them were previous donors. They've been donating to me for several years, and I was going to leave them off of my donation request for this year. But I listened to the advice that I give to every single person who I talk to about fundraising, and I decided to include them in my fundraising request. And my friend who started her own business, who had canceled dinner with me, gave me the same donation that she gave me last year, and the one who had just gotten laid off gave me about half as much. Now, I don't care about, how much money they gave me. I was just incredibly touched that this is what was important to them. And it was a good reminder for me to recognize that my job isn't to make decisions for my donors, but to ask and let them make the decision for themselves. So it's a big reminder that's been good for me that I hope I can pass along to all of you. This one also kind of falls under the category of you need to be willing to work for it. So I ask people for a donation by sending an individual request to each person. And I send that request via email. I think my grandparents are probably the only people who I sent. My grandparents and my father-in-law were the only two people who I sent an actual piece of mail to, asking for their support. But I don't rely on social media. I don't send one generic email out to every person. And again, it's incredibly time-consuming, but it's also incredibly effective. So this is something that if you're struggling with your fundraising, and you're looking for different ways to engage your donors, I would challenge you to start sending individual requests so that you can personalize them instead of sending one bulk email. Or if you have been just throwing up a link on Facebook and leaving your fundraising up that way, I would encourage you to adopt a more personal and individual way to ask people to support you.